Hey guys, and welcome to the next part of Let's Play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. In the last part, we finally rescued Bastila, and this part will probably just be dialogue. I'm going to talk to all my people in here, all my peeps in my hideout, and we'll see what they say. So,
How can I help?
if you don't like dialogue, you might want to skip to the next episode, or...
I would like to know what happened after you crashed on Taurus. I'm curious as to what you and Karth were doing before we all joined forces.
We were looking for you.
Yes, I realize that, of course. But surely there was more to it than a simple search. I doubt there were flashing signs pointing you in my direction. Yet somehow you found me. You also avoided detection by the Sith, discovered I was a Vulcan prisoner, gained sponsorship for the race, and became the Taurus Swoop champion. That's quite a resume.
And rescued the damsel in distress. Don't forget that.
Yes, well, I hardly consider myself a damsel in distress. I'm a member of the Jedi Order, after all. But I won't deny you've impressed me with what you've done. When you were chosen to join this mission, I doubt any of us expected this much from you. A Jedi could have done such things, of course, but only by drawing heavily upon the Force.
You trying to say I can control the Force?
The Force is in all of us, though for most people it's barely a measurable whisper. There are some individuals outside the Jedi Order that we consider Force-sensitive. It's obvious to me that the Force has been working through you. There is no other explanation for your great success. Though I'm not certain what to make of this discovery. Perhaps if you weren't... well, if you were younger, the Jedi might take you for training. But as it is...
What are you trying to say?
I'm sorry, I've never stepped my authority. I'm speaking of things that are best left to the Jedi Council. For now, let's just accept the fact that you're gifted. Hopefully, between your abilities, my Jedi training, and the skills of our companions, we can find a way off this planet.
Alright, so there's the conversation with Bastila. Now, Karth wanted to talk earlier, but we ignored him. This is a good time to ask you some more questions.
I guess I did say you could ask me questions later. Is this really necessary?
Not if you have a problem with it.
No, I don't have a problem with it, really. Go ahead and interrogate me.
This isn't an interrogation. I never said that.
I was just joking, though you do seem to be full of questions. It's rather refreshing, to be honest. Let me ask you something first, though. I've been going through the battle aboard the Endar Spire over and over in my head since we crashed. Some things just don't add up for me. Maybe you could tell me what happened, from your perspective.
I wasn't in a position to know what was going on, really.
Neither was I, to tell the truth. I was on board as an advisor for the most part. The battle began so fast it's anyone's guess as to what actually happened. We lost the ship and a lot of good people. And for what? In the hope that the Jedi powers would save us somehow? Not that Bastila had much of an opportunity to act. We didn't choose that battle anyway. It got forced on us. Hell, I'm just as surprised that any of us are alive to talk about it. Come to think of it, it's more than a little surprising that you happen to be here, isn't it? I mean, just what is your position with the Republic fleet anyway?
I'm just a soldier. I'm sure there isn't anything unusual about that, is there?
I don't know. Unless you consider that you were a last-minute addition to the crew roster and you just happened to be one of the survivors.
You'd rather I wasn't?
Don't be ridiculous. You've more than proved yourself since the crash. We wouldn't have made it this far without you, but still.
Are you implying that I had something to do with the crash?
Well, maybe. Don't get me wrong, it just seems odd that someone Bastila's party specifically requested to transfer aboard happens to survive.
Why would Bastila request my transfer?
The Jedi requested numerous things when they came on board. Hell, they practically took over the ship, as far as I can tell. Considering your connection with Bastila and the Jedi, whether you know it or not, your presence here seems a little convenient. I'm probably wrong, and this is probably nothing, I know. I learned a long time ago not to take things at face value ever, and I hate surprises.
What do you mean by surprises?
I mean, I have to expect the unexpected, just to be safe.
You do know we're on the same side, right?
Look, it has nothing to do with you personally. I don't trust anyone. And I have my reasons. And no, I'm not going to discuss them, so can we just keep our mind on more important things?
I consider this important.
All right, all right. You're pretty damn tenacious. You know that? We'll talk about it, but later. Right now, I just want to get going.
Alright, and that's Karth. Let's see if there's anything else he wants to say.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Oh, nope. Never mind. He doesn't. Alright, let's see what Mission has to say.
Hey there, what can I do for you?
I want to know a little more about you, Mission.
Really? You want to know about me? Nobody's ever really been interested in me before. What do you want to know?
Where are your parents? Don't you have a family?
Big Z's my family, you know? My parents, well, I guess they're dead. It was just me on my own until the day I saw Zalbar in the Motor City. I could tell right away he was in trouble. This was before the gang wars were out of hand. But even then, the Volkers were scum. A few of them were hassling Big Z, trying to pick a fight, but he wasn't looking for trouble.
Who'd want to pick a fight with a Wookiee?
Hey, nobody said the Volkers were smart, but there were three
Ooh,
of
there's
them,
a typo
so
there.
maybe they figured they could handle him.
Volkers
I don't
was
know.
smart.
Anyway, I don't like the Volkers for the best of times. When I saw them picking on this poor Wookiee, all alone on a strange planet, overwhelmed by the big city, I just lost it. I screamed out, "Leave him alone, you core slimes!"
Ooh.
And charged right at them. One of them saw me coming and slapped me so hard he just about knocked me cold.
You're lucky he didn't fry you with a blaster.
Hey, I don't need a lecture from you. You ain't my mother. I knew what I was doing. Those Volkers didn't scare me. They're nothing but cowards. I knew how to deal with them. Of course, I never got the chance. I guess Zalbar didn't like seeing me get smacked around. He let out this howl and yanked that Volker a meter up off the ground and held him there by his throat.
What did the other two Volkers do? Did they
The other
run?
two screamed and ran
Oh,
off.
I knew they
Can't
ran.
say I blame them. The first time you see an angry Wookiee up close, it isn't a pretty sight. I thought Zalbar was gonna rip that punk's arms off and beat him to death with his own fists. The Volker was so scared, he fainted. Or maybe it was Big Z's breath just knocked him out. I keep telling Zalbar to brush those choppers of his, but he never listens. Just stay upwind when he's speaking and you'll be fine. Anyway, I knew those Volkers would be back with Frank, so I grabbed Zalbar and we took off. Ever since then, we've been a team. We look out for each other, you know?
How did you survive before you met Zalbar?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? You think I can't take care of myself? I've got street smarts. I know how to get by on my own. In fact, I look out for Zalbar more than he looks out for me, you know? Big Z is a little bit too gullible to make it alone on the mean streets of the lower city.
How did Zalbar end up on Terrace?
He was fleeing some kind of trouble back on Kashyyyk. That's all I know, really. Big Z doesn't like to talk about it. In case you didn't notice, he's the strong, silent type. Doesn't much matter to me, though. I accept him for what he is, not what he was. Me and Zalbar like to live in the present.
We should get back to the task at hand.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Like I used to tell my brother, fast talk and slick words don't get the job done.
I didn't know you had a brother.
My brother's a touchy subject, you know. It just so happens I don't really feel like talking about him right now. Nothing personal. Let's just get back to the business at hand, okay?
Oh, there's Mission. I guess she doesn't want to talk to her brother
What can I
yet.
do for you?
I want to talk about your brother.
I was a little snappish when we last talked. I'm sorry about that. I get a little touchy when it comes to Griff. It's kind of embarrassing telling people about him.
Embarrassing? Why?
It's complicated. Griff wasn't the most popular guy. He had his faults. But I still loved him, you know? Sometimes people don't understand. I never knew my parents. My brother always looked out for me. He's the one who brought me here to Tars. I was just a kid, only 5. But I remember the trip, if you could call it that. We were stuffed inside a packing crate in a Starfreighter's cargo hold with just enough food and water to make the trip. Not exactly first class, you know.
You were stowaways?
I don't know the whole story. I was pretty young. But my brother owed a lot of money. Might even have been a few arrest warrants out for him, I don't know. The only way to get off the planet was to smuggle ourselves out. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we were criminals. Well, maybe my brother was. See, this is why I don't like to talk about it. It makes Griff sound worse than he really was. My brother had his problems, but he always looked out for me.
He's family. You have to stick by your family.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Without my brother, I don't know where I'd be. He gambled and drank, and he was always borrowing money for his latest get-rich-quick scheme. But he had a good heart, you know? He taught me how to survive. He showed me how to slice into a computer security system, how to get inside a locked building without the entrance codes, and how to spot a wealthy mark for a quick shell game.
Pretty handy skills to have, Mission.
Yeah, Griff did right by me. I really miss him since he left. I keep hoping he'll come back someday. He promised me he would.
Why did he leave?
He fell in with bad crowd. It's all Lena's fault. She's the one who took him from me. Just batted those long lashes at him and off he went.
Who's Lena?
I don't want to talk about Griff and Lena. Just the thought of that space tramp makes my blood boil. Subject's closed as far as I'm concerned. If I'm gonna be any help to you, I can't be worrying about my brother running off with some intergalactic skank. Is there something else you need?
Nothing, never mind.
Okay.
And I am out of time. The next episode will further the story. This is Grecker221, and thank you for watching.